We are live or recording. Thank you, Skype. Welcome back to Thrashers Paradise. Kids edition, I want to say, as we are joined with St. Catherine's sister.
Yeah.
Bones, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. Now, right off the bat, what inspired the name Pisser?
It's actually ridiculous. So I used to run a house venue. I've had a few. The first one that I had, we were like having our first show, and we were making signs to put up all over the house so people knew where stuff was. And I made one for the bathroom that said Pisser, and I just painted it like hastily and painted this shitty picture, but it turned out so cool. I like looked at it and just thought, that's an album cover. We never ended up using it as an album cover, but that's where we got the band name from, the sign on my bathroom door.
Could you maybe see that revived into like maybe a t-shirt?
Yeah, I've definitely considered that for sure. I still have the sign. I've moved like 2 houses since then and I kept it, so it's gonna get used for something, yeah.
Now, how long has Pisser been together for?
That's tough to answer. Honestly, it's been on and off. Like, we're one of those bands that just like took us a while to get our shit together. And then there's been kind of long gaps because we all sort of have other things going on, and there's been like various health problems and various other situations. So it's kind of been like, yeah, we're like an on again, off again relationship. So I think we first jammed in 2015 and then didn't put out a demo until a couple years later, and then finally put out our EP last year, finally.
What was it like to finally be able to release that EP?
Oh, it felt so good. It was so overdue. I mean, we already have a whole bunch of new songs written. Like, we're already almost ready to put out another album, which is great. Like, I'm hoping now we can actually keep up some kind of a momentum. I mean, and then the pandemic happens, but outside of this, I'm hoping we can keep up some kind of momentum. So, yeah, hopefully we'll be more consistent in the years to come.
Excellent. Now, what has changed from writing songs from the first EP to now somewhat creating the next phase?
Good question. I think we've gotten a little bit more complex. I mean, it's still crossover thrash. We're not like, we haven't turned into a prog band or anything, but the first songs were like definitely really heavily punk influenced, and I would say the newer stuff is a little more on the metal side. It's still got the punk influence, but it's definitely it's gotten a little more interesting, a little bit more complex. There's a little bit more progression, and lyrically I think I've gotten even wordier, if that was possible. my lyrics on the first album are already like several pages long for some, like one song, some of them, but I've kept that up. Yeah.
Now, for you personally, what was your favorite song to record from the EP?
I mean, I had a lot of fun with Willing Victim just because the gang vocals were so much fun. Just getting a bunch of my friends crowded into a room and all screaming together, and I had them all written out on like giant cue cards for everybody to follow. So that was just fun because I like that sort of like camaraderie and that like communal sort of nature, and I love that at shows, like when the fans know the songs and scream along. Like, I love that whole like everybody is kind of just all screaming and yelling and in this like momentous sort of energy together. That's super fun for me. So probably Willing Victim for that reason. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, from the EP, if you were given the opportunity to create a music video for one of those songs, what song would you want to be that music video of?
I've debated this, And I don't know, like we were talking about making a music video for that album. And at this point, definitely by the time the pandemic's over, we're going to be ready to release a new album. So it's like, maybe it makes more sense to just make videos for that. But I thought about it, and I think probably the Pulverizer is like the most kind of fun one thematically, but it's not like the music video obviously has to be like acting out the lyrics in the song. But if it was gonna be, it would be that one. We talked about doing one for Nightcrawler, maybe. Yeah, probably one of those two.
Now, moving on to more of the scene that you're in, the St. Catharines, Niagara region scene. From what I know of it, there is a wide variety of different bands, of different styles. And how do you try to fit into that, just having your little impression on the scene?
Yeah, it's a weird scene. It's a cool scene. I like it. It's really tight knit, and everybody really supports each other. And it's like, because it's so small, you don't really have the divide that you get in bigger cities with different genres and different cliques, or you don't have it as much. I mean, we get a bit of that, but it's kind of like, you know, the punks will support the metal shows, and, you know, you will also support the indie shows, and just whoever, like basically anyone who's just doing something unique and creative and underground. It's kind of like everybody wants to lift each other up no matter what genre you are. So there was definitely a period where we were one of the only metal bands in the Niagara region, if not the only. There might have been a brief period where we were the only, but our local shows are still packed because we still just like, we're buds with everyone, you know, and we support everyone else. And I've been running a house venue for years, and I book all different genres there. And like, we even mix the shows up generically. Like I'll book an out of town metal band, and I'll have like an indie band and a hardcore band like opening for them. Or I had like a solo singer-songwriter open for Fuck the Facts. Like, it's just like anything goes, and everyone's just happy that something's going on, you know? So it's cool.
Awesome. Now, if Fisher was to ever branch out of the Niagara region and start to expand their name, what next city would you want to make the biggest impact with?
Well, we have done a fair bit of touring around Canada, and I think we have a pretty big fan base in Montreal, and well, definitely Toronto. Like when we put the EP out, we did an album release here in the Niagara region, but then we did another album release in Toronto, and that one was bigger. I mean, which just makes sense because there's just more people in Toronto. But yeah, we've got a lot of buds there. We play there pretty often. And we play Montreal pretty often too. And we just got to play Varning Fest this past year. I don't know if you're familiar. It's like an annual, primarily punk festival. Heavy festival basically. And they get bands from like all over the world. 3 days long. And we got to be like one of the headliner bands on like one of the big nights, and it was so sick. It was such a cool experience. But yeah, we definitely draw more people in other cities. But I mean, again, it's just because there are more people. like there's only so many people in St. Catharines to go to shows. But yeah, I would like to expand more. We haven't been to other countries yet. So that's the next step.
Now, carry on with that thought, what country would you want Pittsburgh to make the biggest impact in?
I really want to tour South America. I really love South America. And a couple, like I've got a few buddies scattered throughout South America, and I've got a bunch of really good friends in Mexico, which is North America, Latin America in general. I would just love to do. And our one guitar player, Chavez, he's Colombian. And our bass player, Shane, and I both have been like working on learning Spanish for a while, and we've both done a bit of traveling in Latin America. So that's like, I feel like we would really kind of, fit in there and just like have a fucking blast, because they're just so much fun. They just really know how to let loose and have a time. So Yeah, that'd be my personal next step. That's what I'd like to see us do.
Awesome. Now, during that answer, I kind of lost my train of thought about what I was going to ask.
No worries. It's a break for a swig.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the official beer of Pittsburgh?
I don't know. Feel like, yeah, we all just kind of drink a lot of cheap beer because we're poor, but I do try to buy craft beer when I can afford it. And I know punks make fun of craft beer as being like hipster shit, but I like the idea of supporting independent businesses. I try to avoid supporting major corporations as much as possible. So as much as like I love my PBR and my fucking Pilsner and, you know, I used to drink a lot of James Reddy, and then they sold out because they used to be independent and they were dirt cheap and they were fucking awesome. But now they're owned by one of the big guys too. So yeah, if I can afford craft beer, I'll buy it. I think we all appreciate a good beer. Like we all like trying different kinds of beer, but we also are poor, so we drink a lot of shit beer too.
Awesome. Now carrying on with that previous question, if Pittsburgh was to ever get their own beer, what kind of beer would you want?
Huh. I wonder what we would all be able to agree on. I think, you know, it would probably be a Pilsner. I think we all drink a lot of Pilsners. I know for my sake, it would definitely not be an IPA because IPAs are fucking gross. I don't know. I like that idea though. That's something I haven't put a lot of thought into. We really should have a beer, shouldn't we? We wouldn't even need a different name for it. You just fucking call it Pisser, right?
Oh, PP, Pittsburgh Pilsner.
Yes, there we go. Perfect. What's that, sorry? You broke up a little bit.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate this. Thank you. You're our new, like, I don't know what that position would be, where you just come up with products for us. What's that? Oh, fuck, you're breaking up. Sorry.
Marketing?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're a marketing dude. Perfect.
Well, I'll do it for free.
Thank you. We'll cut you into the profits if we actually start making any money.
Sounds good. Now, one last question to ask you. We ask this to all of our first-time guests. Who would win in the fight, Lemmy or God?
Trick question, buddy. Lemmy is God.
Hey, do you know what movie that comes from?
It's from Airheads.
Yes!
Love that flick. I've got it on VHS.
Oh, that's awesome!
Fuck yeah.
Bones, thank you so much for taking time out of your high demanding schedule to do this interview. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the people at home?
Hey, thanks for having me. Everybody fucking stay smart during this pandemic. It's a pain in the ass and it sucks for all of us, but the more careful we are and the smarter we are, the sooner this is going to be over and the sooner we can be packing venues again and melting your face off. So in the meantime, stay home, wear a fucking mask, don't be a fucking idiot. But I don't know, keep rocking.
Yes. And until next time, everyone, keep on thrashing.
Fuck.
We're time and space, it gets you back.